I think this is the biggest issue with the VMT tax. Privacy is obviously a major concern, especially if you want to have a detailed system that can tax differently based on whether you're driving in a rural area or urban area. Then you would need that GPS tracking, and that would obviously include some privacy invasion. To a certain extent, drivers already allow this. I mean, a lot of drivers, at least in the DMV area where I live, have an easy pass that tracks, what tolls you go through. But it's a bit different when the government collects it. So I think the key would be to have a very strong system, maybe data collected by a third party that the government doesn't necessarily have access to, or at least that only the tax agencies have access to. I think there would be some concern that maybe law enforcement or others could subpoena that data and get easy access to it. And that's a worry that I think is legitimate. So really strong privacy protection is key to ever get to a detailed VMT system. If you're going to rely on something more simple like odometer readings, and we're just going to track how many miles you traveled and tax you based on that, the privacy concern is less prevalent because it won't tell anyone where you've driven, just how many miles you've driven. I think in terms of public education, it's going to be difficult because the government's involved. But generally, drivers use their phones while driving. They use it for GPS. They have their phone on them. They take calls. They're already tracked to a certain extent. And I think a lot of people know that. So it's not that people are against being tracked if they feel like they get a benefit from that. So I think it's about selling this system as a better way to fund our highway system. And then obviously the trade-off is that there's a little bit of a privacy invasion involved.